Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. I am Nopama Thamathiradecho, a partner from TD Gibbons. I will be the moderator for today's webinar. We're going to discuss about the empowering women in arbitration from 5 jurisdictions in ASEAN Plus. So we have a speaker from Australia, Erica Williams. We have the speaker from Singapore, Catherine Neo. We have speaker from Philippines, Emmanuel Nicro Valencia. And we have speaker from Cambodia, Nitika Nit, and Associate Professor Dr. Thidarat from Thailand. So before we begin with the discussion, I would like to thank you to our host for the webinar today, Thai Arbitration Institute or TAI. That is the key arbitral institute in Thailand. And we would like to invite Her Honor Donaya Tangthanakarnon as the Executive Director of the Thai Arbitration Institute and Chief Judge of the Office of President of the Supreme Court of Thailand, will begin with her opening remarks. Thank you very much.
Okay, สวัสดีค่ะ Thank you very much, คุณนพมาศ for the introduction. Good afternoon and also good evening to the guest speaker and distinguished guests. I'm very honored to join today's webinar on the topic Empowering Women in Arbitration, Experience from Australia, Cambodia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. First of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the Arbitral Women Bangkok Arbitration Club for organizing this webinar and to all qualified female speakers for taking out of your busy schedule to be here and share with us your expertise and experience in the arbitration. As it is known, women have sought into space since 1963 and have also participated in public life for a long period of time, serving as a center for alternative dispute resolution in Thailand for over 30 years. The Thai Arbitration Institute has witnessed an increasing number and role of female practitioners as lawyers, counsel, and arbitrators, with hope to see a greater role of women in arbitration. The Thai Arbitration Institute therefore extend our support to inspire women of all generations to become part of this field, including hosting a webinar as a platform for well-respected guest speakers in sharing information and experience like this afternoon event. I am confident that this webinar will be beneficial to all participants and will strengthen professional network in the future. Ladies and also gentlemen, welcome to the webinar on the International Women's Day. I truly wish this webinar to be fruitful for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, that's Donaya. So apart from the TAI, Thai Arbitration Institute, we have 2 supporting organizations, and I give a special thanks to Nicole to have us to have the Philippine Institute of Arbitrators to be the supporting organization, and the Bangkok Arbitration Club that we want to also support and promote the Thai arbitrators and international arbitration practitioners to exchange the knowledge and work together in order to promote this way of dispute resolution by arbitration. So before we begin with the discussion, I would like to give some introduction to our honors speakers today. Erica's from Australia. She's the arbitrators and and her chamber is Williams Arbitration. Erika is the leading international arbitration practitioner. She acts as the arbitrator for several several institutes, including CARB and ACICA, CAC, and THAC. And also, she's also handles several kinds of construction and other international dispute arbitration cases. So we really happy to have Erika to join us as the panelist today. And secondly, I would like to introduce Emmanuel Nicole Valencias. She is the corporate legal counsel for the Airmont Trading Groups of companies. And Nicole's not only the corporate counsel, but she also the academics for the arbitration courses in the university in Philippines as well. So it's really appreciate that you join us today, Nicole. And thirdly, I would like to introduce you to Catherine Neos, the partner from PD Legal LLC Singapore. Catherine is the bilingual and English and Mandarin and triple qualified Singapore, England, and Wales, and Australia, Victoria, as the dispute resolution partner. And her work also assists clients in several jurisdictions like Australia, Brunei, and Indonesia court, and certainly in Singapore. And also she is the author for books and book chapters and several case reports on the landmark arbitration decision published in Hoover Institute. So thank you for your time, Kathleen, to join us for today's discussion. So we go to our speaker from Thailand, Associate Professor Dr. Thidarat Silapa Pilom Suk. She is the full-time lecturer from Faculty of Law, Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok. So Dr. Thidarat specialized in international business transaction and also the investment treaty arbitration. She is also the TAI arbitrator and also had appointed to be the by the Council of State Office of Thailand as the committee reviewing the draft national legislation implementing the UN Convention on Contract for the International Sale of Goods, CISG 1980. So I welcome Dr. Thidarat to this panel and thank you for your information that I know that you have a lot of interesting statistics to discuss with us today. And last but not least, my colleagues, actually today she is broadcast from Dubai because she attending the IPBA's conference in Dubai right now. And thank you very much, my friend Nitika Nit. She is the Cambodian lawyer and the young racing star for our firm. And I really welcome because we rarely have the Cambodian lawyer to discuss on this topic. So I welcome you and please share the information with us today. So I start with my first question to Erika, that we would like to know that what is the data or statistic about the female arbitrators in Australia, whether or not it changed, it improved, how far the Australian arbitration have developed.
Thank you, Noprama. So, and I thank you for providing us the questions in advance. It gave me an opportunity to have a look at the ACICA, the Australian Centre for International Commercial Arbitration panel of arbitrators on their website. And I counted the number of arbitrators, and there's 173 men. There's 173 arbitrators And of that, 33 listed on the panel are women. So that works out at about 19%, which I think has improved, although it's still dismally low. So that's what I could see from the statistics on the AKICA website for the proportion of female arbitrators here.
How would because from my understanding that for the arbitrators before we can be appointed that arbitrator, most of us have usually most of the arbitrator they graduated with a law degree, right? I would like to know that is there any number of the female and male law students quite equal or differently?
Well, it's quite different from the number of women represented in the panel of arbitrators. I actually was able to find some statistics based on the College of Law, which is the practical legal training program that everyone who finishes a law degree who wants to go on to be admitted as a lawyer has to complete practical legal training. So the statistics show that since 2018, so 4 or 5 years now, women have made up of the majority of students completing the practical legal training to enter the legal profession. And I think as the most recent statistics are last year, 2022, more than 64% of the students completing the practical legal training were female.
So I think that I would like also the statistic quite interesting because it's like 64% of female law students, but why 13% of the female arbitrator in Australia is something that is missing between after graduation and become the arbitrator, right? So I asked our friend Nicole, what happened in Philippines?
In the Philippines, I was able to draw the numbers from the Philippine Institute of Arbitrators. We are a society of arbitration and dispute resolution professionals here in the Philippines, and we have 595 members, of which 306 are male, 287 are female, and there are 2 whose sex has not been identified based on available data. So it's a pretty even split between men and women as far as membership in the PIARB goes. However, when we go to our service providers for dispute resolution, the change is quite significant. Under the Philippine Dispute Resolution Center Incorporated, which is one of our leading dispute resolution service providers here in the Philippines, we have 357 trained arbitrators, 208 are male, 149 are female. So it's still skewed a little bit more towards the men. But when we get to accredited arbitrators, which are those who have previously served as counsel or arbitrator in at least 5 cases, there are 52 who are male and only 11 who are female. So the ratio skews quite heavily towards men the further along in the profession we get.
Okay, that interesting. So I think that the pattern is seem to be quite similar to Australia. Let's see, we have whether or not we have the same in Singapore, Thailand, and Cambodia or not. May you share the data from Singapore, Catherine?
Thanks, no problem, and thank you for moderating this session expertly today. Wanted to share first, to start off with your question on undergrads and enrollment statistics, and then we compare that against how many actually end up practicing law and becoming arbitrators. So it's interesting because when I was tracking over the last 3 years, it's actually 50-50. So for example, in 2021, we had 230 female students who were enrolled into the course in law school, and that's out of 485. In 2020, it's also about the same, about 259 out of a total of 463. So it's about 50% of the law intake. Then the next step is someone who finishes their law degree, the law grads. It is also about 50-50 around there. 2021 was 216 law graduates who are female and 415 law graduates in total. So 216 out of 415. In 2020 was 204 out of 394. So in fact, slightly more female than male. So then the question is, what happened after that when we go into practice? So I also have statistics from Law Society as well, and it is about 43% right now if we look at the entire law practicing population. But of course, this includes practitioners in other areas like corporate, conveyancing, and all that. So finally, I go on to SIAC's annual report, which gives us a very good breakdown. And I noticed that sadly, it's about 2021, it's about 35.8%. In fact, that's quite high based on the historical numbers. 2020 is 32.2% of female arbitrators, and 2019 had the highest of 36.5%.
But these numbers on the SIAC is the number of the list of the female arbitrator on the panel of SIAC. But have they shown the number of the appointed female arbitrators?
Yes, so these are actually the number of appointed female arbitrators. And in fact, I then became curious and went on to ICC as well. And I noticed that ICC showed that there are close to 40% of those appointments are women by the ICC court.
Correct, correct. I share the same thing. I am a ICC court for member for Thailand. So I think that the one that why the statistic for ICC quite increased least in the recent year. One thing I think that they have been discussed that the ICC have the project that try to promote the women in the arbitration. So the current president of ICC, Madam Claudia Solomon, she is the first female court member for ICC for the 100 years. You see, so I think that there is some improvement. So we have the role model like the Claudia Solomon as the ICC court president. So that is something she tried to make the diversity to ICC court of arbitration. So that may be another factor why the number of the appointed female arbitrator. I think that for in ICC it jumped from like 17% to 40%. That is quite high in a few years. So I like to go to the statistic for Singapore. You have anything to discuss further, Catherine?
Yes, I think the point is in that because SIAC's panel is also made up of very international audience as well. So I think one area I would like to look at really is in the appointment of Asian female arbitrators as well in Asia. This is something we do not have statistics of, and we can hopefully have a look at in the future that institutions can consider.
Yeah, you see, even the statistic is quite excited. It is quite interesting number. So I like to go to Nitika from Cambodia. You can share some of interesting figures for us.
Thank you. I hope that it sounds very encouraging and motivating from Cambodian standpoint, because I reached out to NCAC, the National Commercial Arbitration of Cambodia, and they provide a very encouraging number. So out of 101 registered arbitrator, however, there is only 21 female arbitrator, but when it's come to appointment, so far, Cambodian National Arbitration Center is quite new. So far we have only 31 cases. And out of 31 cases, there were around 15 appointed female arbitrator who are requested by the parties. So the number is quite, I'm sorry to say, it's quite surprising to me, but it sounds very encouraging, because this is how the party, they prefer to appoint women arbitrator to handle the case. However, due to conflict of interest and unavailability of the female arbitrator, there have been only 7 female arbitrators who have finally taken the case. And out of 7 female arbitrators who have taken the case, who has been appointed, they were almost 90% who are presiding arbitrator.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this is very impressive number.
Yeah. I remember one of maybe 38 case arbitration case in Cambodia is one of my case that we also choose female arbitrator as well. Yeah. Okay. Anything interesting further for the Cambodia that make me surprised?
I would like to share. I don't really have an exact number, but when I studied law school and as I'm an adjunct lecturer at University of Law in Cambodia, I would say that almost 60% of female who are law students. But on the way, we may discuss that in further topic. What happens that they did not reach or continue their legal profession or legal training, because I also have a number from the Bar Association of the Kingdom of Cambodia. So out of 2,122 registered lawyers, there are only 533 female lawyers. So the number is not very comparative to the female law student when we went to the university. So this is also another interesting topic we can discuss together.
Yeah. Where they are missing along the way after they graduate. So that will be the next question. So before we go to the next question, we come back to Bangkok now to Dr. Thidarat to share our Thailand situation.
So, okay, first, let me thank Nupamat and other organizers for including me to be part of this excellent program as well. I'm truly delighted and indeed honored to be here. So I'm quite privileged in the sense that I have my assistant to help me prepare the presentation, so it's easier to follow. So if I may, I like to share very quickly and go through very quickly. I might not read out the statistic, but you can see very clearly from the diagram. So I think it should work. Okay, so this is about what happened at law school first. So you can see from this PowerPoint, I think you can see, right? Yes. Yeah. So it's pretty much the same as some of the other countries as well, that at law school, usually we have higher number of the female students. So this one from Thammasat University, LLB program from 2020 to 2022. So still a higher percentage of the female student or the 3 years, although in the last year, the male students kind of catching up a little bit. And for Chulalongkorn University, Faculty of Law, not much different either. So at law school, still female student dominant. So every year since 2019 to 2022, greater percentage of the female student or over the time here. So that is what happened at law school. Actually, I add one more data. It's about because at Chulalongkorn we have the Center for Dispute Resolution, which I am a director. And I also asked my assistant to provide the information here. When we have the events regarding arbitration events for any topic like international commercial, international investment arbitration, it shows that this one, the percentage of female participants is also greater than the percentage of the male participant at the events that organized by our center as well. All the events are about, as I said, arbitration. So female about 66% and male only 34%. So this shows also the genuine interest in the issue of arbitration as well. So female still greater here, the percentage. But this is what happened at the stage of the maybe the practicing thing. So we have two arbitral institutions here in Thailand. One is TAI and another is TSAC. I mean, the main one that we have the data here. There could be other as well. But for TAI and TSAC, you can see for TAI, out of 399 arbitrators on the list, 59 only are female. And the percentage is at 14.7%. And for TSAC, the total number of the arbitrators on the list are 342, and only 51 is female arbitrators, and about the same percentage, 14.9. So this is quite different or converse, story. So if you compare to what happened at law school at the graduate level. And if we focus on the TAI, just for Thai arbitrators, female only 17%, and the rest are male Thai male arbitrators. And how about foreigners? So on the list of TAI as well, female only 12%. The foreign female arbitrators on the list of TAI, and the rest are dominated by male arbitrators who are foreigners. So about the same story. And however, if we look on the bright side, actually, if you look at the trend, if we look at the trend from the TAI data as well, actually, it's not that bad. If you look at the year as well, it's actually in the increasing percentage. If you look at the last 3 years, that we have the data here. So looking at the bright side, I think we have some encouraging and positive trend out there here as well in Thailand. So I think that it might be in a even more progressive and more inclusive situation in Thailand regarding the female arbitrators in the future. So maybe I just stop here for the situation in Thailand. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the situation in Thailand is also interesting because at the number we can see that there are increasing number for the female arbitrator in the key arbitral institute in Thailand, but we actually don't know yet whether or not this increasing number had been also increased the number for the appointed female arbitrator in Thailand as well. So that may be another thing that we can work out with the institute in order to collect the data, and we can consider from this data how we can improve the number for the female arbitrators in each institute. Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Thirarat. You work really hard on the statistics.
No, actually, my assistant. Actually, if I may, could I add one more thing that actually touched on the point that raised by Khun Nopamat as well. Another statistic that I like to get, but I don't have here, which is something that you mentioned as well, the percentage of appointment. This one is from the ICA, which is actually from the international data. So actually, I like to see the same thing. The number of appointment to be divided by appointed by institutions, appointed by co-arbitrators, appointed by parties. So if you look at the international trend, actually, I don't know if TAI and TSAC are on this same trend or not, but usually for the report, the institution usually quite, doing a leading role here in appointing female arbitrators. If you compare to appointment made by co-arbitrators when they appoint the chair or the presiding arbitrator, or even appointed by the parties, still, I mean, for international context, institutions doing great job. But maybe we need to see more appointment of the female arbitrator by co-arbitrators and by the party. But again, even though everything is in the increasing trend, so in a positive trends. So I think it would be a great idea if we have the same data for Thailand from the two leading institutions here as well. Thank you.
Yeah, agree. Because I think that the role of the arbitral institute is really the key point, because in several Arbitral Institute, they have put this as the like inclusion or the diversity policy, that in order to at least for the institute to appoint the arbitrator, they have to consider the proportion between male and female arbitrator. And as well as the event, I think for the event, like you show about the event that the male and female participant, I think this statistic may be missing something, because this is the event in the university, because the event, the international conference for the like professionals arbitrator, that may be different ones, because I think I have heard some research that concerning the visibility of female arbitrator and female practitioners. I'm not really sure whether or not we haven't heard about this statistic or not, but it's quite interesting that when the arbitrator going to be appointed by the party, first, I think the party have to know known about you. Have you ever speak in the conference? Have you ever published the article? Something like that. So and the statistic in between 2019 and 2020 that I have researched, that it show like males the male panelists, they took over like 89% as the panelists. And
but not to
like
the event.
Yeah, not to the event. Today event is 100% female. Yeah, so something like that. So I think that that thing we can talk later, how and why we should empowering women in the arbitration. But I come back first about why there is some missing law graduates, female law graduates in the middle of their career path. That's why they not come to become the arbitrator or the arbitration practitioner yet. So I like to start from Nicole. In the Philippines, what happened? Why they just leave the legal practice or what is the reason?
I think this is a really good question. In the Philippines, at least as far as my classes have gone, we are about 60% female students, about 40% male. And when you get out into the profession, once these students pass the bar exam, it's about the same ratio still. And what happens is that they get into law firms and get spread over different disciplines. So I don't think that very many of them end up in alternative dispute resolution disciplines, just because it's also not that well publicized yet in the Philippines as a viable type of career path or a viable choice. Typically, when you're a first-year associate, you tend to go into either litigation or corporate law, because they are the most stable as far as the Philippine practice is concerned, and they're also the most well publicized. As far as when you go to career fairs in law schools, these are the most well discussed disciplines. And so I think that as students get further into practice and they start to see dispute resolution clauses and issues come up in their practice, they start to realize that, hey, maybe alternative dispute resolution is actually viable and is actually interesting. And so they start to enroll in courses. And that's why we see that there's a pretty even split between male and female arbitration practitioners once they get into the practice. The problem then becomes that once you're in practice as an arbitration practitioner, as a dispute resolution practitioner, there's not really anywhere for you to go unless you get appointed. So it sort of stops. There's a roadblock that needs to be crossed. And I think that part of what you mentioned earlier about women being more visible in the profession is going to help for the female practitioners to get better appointments, to get more appointments, because at this point in time, the statistics that I have from the Philippine Dispute Resolution Center said that last year, during 2022, there were 22 cases, or sorry, there were 11 cases filed, and all of the arbitrators who were appointed were male, except for 3 disputes where there are no appointments yet. And as far as the institution goes, there is no written policy on diversity. But when the board is able to appoint the arbitrator, they tend to take into consideration, an even distribution of male and female, young and old. But the board hardly ever gets to make those appointments. So it really does come down to the parties and their preference, or at least a perceived preference for men, because those are the only practitioners that they really see out and about in the real world.
Yes, thank you, Nicole. That I think is give the overviews of the young law graduate, where they went, why they missing along the way. So I come back to Kathleen for Singapore. For Singapore, I think that even though you say that the number of the appointed female arbitrator 30% something, that I think that is still high. Still high comparing to Thailand, and yeah, something like that. So I asked you that is there any solution or anything that you want to highlight if to prevent the leaking of this law graduate, female law graduate? Is there anything that anyone can help?
Definitely, Nupama. I want to first say that I echo what Nicole has shared earlier about how students, when you start off, you just follow the path. So when you follow the path, there's no real resistance at that point. And by the time you graduate, you go and start your training, and you start in a law firm. You continue working until the next few years. There's really no resistance. And if you're lucky enough, some of us get to fall into the arbitration practice easily because we just happen to get the opportunity. Some others would have to hustle and ask around, can I get the opportunity? In Singapore, a lot of the practicing lawyers in arbitration are actually 2 types. First, they are those who go right into arbitration right away as their first job. And there are also those who start off in litigation and then find that, hey, there is this other field to go into arbitration. So going into arbitration is definitely a trend, but it's also not that easy for everyone to get in. So that is the first roadblock, or so to speak. Then once you get into practice, the second point is, I think what Nuprama, you have also highlighted, is that it's about visibility as well. How do you then get visibility? So for younger women practitioners, we try to get visibility by going for more networking events and speaking at different conferences, writing articles. But then again, at the end of the day, it is stopped at who has the power, who really has the power to appoint. And to answer your question, I actually think that we should rally those people who have the power to appoint. And to me, in my opinion, there are at least 3 groups of people who have the power. The first group is your general counsel. So they will bring this to the board and say, this is my party appointed arbitrator, and I want it because it's female and there's diversity, and this person is very capable. That's one. The second one, definitely the lawyers ourselves. So I love it that Nuprama, you just now you had shared that you always ensure that there is female appointments, and so we have to rally all our male allies as well to do the same thing, to ensure that there are female arbitrators being considered. Because really, to be honest, from what I see in practice, a lot of times the lawyers already have their go-to arbitrators that they want to appoint. They always know, okay, if they have an arbitration coming, so arbitrator, who am I going to appoint? Co-arbitrator, okay, this guy, I've worked with this guy before. So who gets the chance to really appoint someone else outside the same person? So that's the second one. And lastly, sorry, I'm going on, but lastly,
no worry.
It's for example, other people with the power, for example, litigation funders. They could also say, you know what, I'm funding this thing, but I want you to also give me a list of arbitrators who meet that diversity requirement. So to answer that question, I think we have to go to the people with power, not just institutions.
Yeah, correct. When we talk about the power, is power in the company of the clients, right? So, Elika, I'm going to you, but before I going to you, I want to share something. You know, I love the International Women's Days because they always show a lot of statistics, and I just got this statistic from Australia just today. I read and it shared something like let's see. It said that in Australia, women make up 19.4% of all CEO and 32.5% of key management positions, 33% of board members, 18% of board chair. So I think when Catherine talk about who's have the power, I think these are the source of the power. So then okay, I think that maybe we need more chair women. We need more chair female president, something like that. So we need more female board members because the number is so low. So not even like take to 40% yet. So I asked Elika that in Australia, since the statistics something like this, because you also the arbitrators, you have your own chamber. You think that which source or which organization apart from this in-house counsel network or the institute, arbitral institute themselves, anything that you think that can help to improve the situation of the appoint the female, to increase the number of appoint female arbitrator in Australia?
Hi, not Pramat. I'm so glad you threw to me after Catherine, because I received an email today from AKICA, the Australian Centre for International Commercial Arbitration, which is really what I think a call to arms. I'm just looking at the email on my other screen, which says much more needs to be done, because last year AKICA achieved gender parity in its appointments of arbitrators. And I think this is something that we're all seeing across, and the chart that Professor Titterat showed that institutions are absolutely leading the way. The really disappointing statistic is that last year, the party-nominated arbitrators were 100% men.
Oh.
Still in 2022. So AKICA has done a call to arms. This went out to their membership. I'm not sure how many of their members are corporate counsel or people who can actually have influence over these decisions, but the call to arms was sign the equal representation in arbitration pledge and actually implement it. Have a look at the ICA report that we've seen a snippet from already today. Draw on resources such as the Arbitral Women database, and then the recently fabulously published Mute Off Thursday's Compendium of Unicorns, which I'm sure you've all seen. And then also they've encouraged all of the membership to contact other female arbitration practitioners who might meet the fellow criteria to sign up to be on the AKICA panel of fellows, because it's a visibility thing. You're not visible if you're not on the panel. You won't get an appointment if you're not on the panel. So I mean, I know you asked what other people could do to help, but I was really chuffed to receive this email. It's looks like an AKICA International Women's Day campaign to try and improve statistics. And I think the other thing is making sure we promote each other to in-house counsel who we know, so that they know to put us on the list. And I'll say one more thing. You probably all know Michael McElraith, who was an in-house counsel at GE. He's established his own practice now. I spoke on a panel with him, I calculated had to be more than 7 years ago. And he said when he was in-house counsel, this is 7 years ago or more, if he received a list of potential arbitrators that were all men, he would send it back and say, bring me a list that has diversity. And that's what we need in-house counsel to do.
Yes, that's great highlight, because it's also usually the board member also have to obtain the opinion from the in-house counsel. So I think that's important. And especially for the study in 2021, the Wall Street Journal, McKinsey and Company, and the Harvard Business Review has proven that diverse teams achieve better outcome. So I think that there is something lacking here in the international arbitration if we have less and less female appointed arbitrator. So I like to come back to my friend Nitika Nit, that I know that you don't have only 73 international arbitration, because in Cambodia you have a lot of labor case that you have the arbitration. I also want to ask you for this point, that is that in your experience, are there many appointed female arbitrator for the labor case in Cambodia as well?
Yes, there's so many women arbitrator, and they're very well known. And I would like to highlight and join with our panelists earlier that they discussed about visibility. So far, regarding the labor arbitration in Cambodia, I would say that I was aware of labor arbitrator because of female arbitrator. They're very showcasing, and they always share their experiences. And whenever I go to arbitration award from labor arbitration council in Cambodia, I always see woman arbitrator. And I would say that that's why I'm very curious about how we lead law students on the way. I could not tell why what happens. And for me, like in my professional experience, and also now I'm an arbitration counsel, whenever I check the list, I saw many potential women arbitrator, and I really want to reach out to her whether she's able to handle the case. And she said no, due to unavailability, I could not handle the case. So unavailability to me and also to NCAC is another question to highlight what kind of unavailability that female arbitrator cannot handle the case.
I think one thing that I have reviewed several articles before joining this webinar is females usually have female arbitrator have so many works like household duty, family duty, so that is something maybe put them into the difficult situation when they get appointed, and they can say that, okay, I have to be a mom, I have to be the arbitrator, to be a law lecturer, something like that. So I think that this may be something that the only one who can help them is their employers, and also their family members have to understand, right? Their partners have to understand that, okay, help each other in order to put this female arbitration practitioner or female arbitrator, they can have available time to practice and get the experience. So that is my view, right? So I come back to Dr. Thirarat, because you're familiar with female law student, right? How they have a dream and to, because in our time 20 years ago is rarely to have the role model for the female arbitrator. We just have male arbitrators. Last 5 years, I see my law school friend, my colleagues on the panel of the arbitration conference, but I'm stand as the participant and just, hey, I'm here, I have the question, something like that. So I think that this is something maybe I asked Dr. Thirarat, how can we have the class or sharing the experience to the law female student and try to help them to go to achieve that dream.
Actually, I think a greater number of female students this day also interested in becoming the practicing lawyer in the area of arbitration as well. And actually, some of them even would like to become like arbitrators, which I think not that rare if compared to the past generation. I think the real inspiration for them is that, for us as well to pave the way forward, just like what the TAI, THAC as well doing, like try to increase the chance of getting appointment, of the female arbitrator so they can see the real potential. It's not like just a dream you want to be, but at the end of the day, you there, people still keep appointing male arbitrators. I think so. What needs to be here, I think we have to provide them with the possibility, the opportunity for them to see that the female arbitrator can really be appointed as well. In Thailand, I think one of the problems that I can see, maybe I'm not sure if it's kind of representative or not, but at least for my personal experience, I talked to some of my former students who are already in their legal career and professions. Sometimes I get a reply from them, that accidentally, maybe unintentionally, they say that, oh, if my company have problem, we already have this arbitrator. So they keep going back to the same arbitrator, and I don't think they choose with the gender bias or anything, but just because the first generation of the arbitrator in Thailand usually are male. So if they keep going back to that, and if our current female student generation see that, oh, no chance to get appointed, so we have to change all this practice. As you can see from the statistic that institution actually doing great job, because institution can do so many things to improve this situation, but still there are other elements as well, like the parties, the user, the end users, both the company or even the lawyer that advising them, they have to give that chance to. Institution can't do everything, although they are doing great, but we have to get the contribution from those, and also from the co-arbitrator themselves, with I think some of our colleagues here already mentioned that even co-arbitrator also using something like, repeated appointment strategy as well. They might feel, but I understand they might feel comfortable working this one. So without this, no matter how great the lecture to inspire the student, they wouldn't be interested, because they see the real one that actually the statistic, not really good for female, lawyers to become arbitrator. So I think, co-arbitrators, parties have to take great part on this, not just let the institution alone. If I may add very quick point, I think I heard from the former CEO of the SIAC as well, because I have the chance to discuss the MOU with SIAC. She mentioned that for her, the former one though, she mentioned that for her, she tried to make sure that every time when she proposed the list of the potential arbitrator to the parties that use the services, that she tried to include at least one female arbitrator to be on the list. So I think that kind of another way to improve the situation as well. And last but not least, according to another statistic in the year 2020 for the London International Court of Arbitration, they said that once the female get the chance to be appointed, the statistics show that, or the data show that actually the female got reappointed. Yeah, more than male arbitrator. I think the female rate or percentage is at 60%. They got reappointed for 60%. This is one for London one, and the male only 34 or something percent. So I think the problem is the first chance to get appointed first. But when they use us, they know that we do great job. That's why the higher percentage is actually on the female arbitrator, at least from the statistic that provided from the London Court of International LCIA. Yes,
I think that Judge Doraya maybe have some comments on this first appointment.
Okay, let me say something at this point. It's very useful information, and I promise next time as the executive director of the TAI, I have to take into account the ratio and also the visibility of women when propose the name of the arbitrators. Thank you for the information.
Yeah, thank you. You know, it's our intention why I think that our webinar is have a full of statistic and data. Why? You know, I got something from I think short YouTube clip, something like that. There is a American scientist. She's really clever. I think that she right now she have a book, but I couldn't remember, but I can send you the name of the book. She said that she had been approached by MIT to be their scientist in MIT, right? And she have her own lab, and the space of her own lab is like 2 or 3 times smaller than the male colleagues. But she complained this to the board that, okay, why she get the very small lab. And the board management think that it just, she imagined that it's small. What she have done in the last 40 years, she used the measurement around all its labs and show this statistic to the board that, you see, this is my areas is much smaller than the male colleagues, but the board just ignore. You see, I think that to prove something that it's actually is not something we imagine, or we just think that it's not equal, or it's not diversity, something that we need to discuss about the fact, the data, and the statistic. So I think that for today is really useful. We have 3 minutes left for something that our audience can take away from our webinar. I give you each to give some takeaway point that how we can empower a young female practitioner or the arbitrators. I start with Nitika, please.
Thanks, Konopramat. So I'm speaking as a young practitioner in arbitration counsel or a lawyer. I would say, first of all, show your confidence, show your qualification that I can do it. I'm capable to do anything I want to. And then when you show your confidence, people will see it. That's how we empower each other. That's all from me.
Thank you. Great. Okay, we come back to Nicole, please. Any takeaway points?
To echo what Nikitar said, what you just have to show that you're confident, you show that you're capable, and make sure that you put your best foot forward in every interaction, especially for the law students. When you are interviewing, when you are getting out there into the profession, make sure that you're putting your best foot forward, showing everybody that you are absolutely just as capable as everybody else. And just keep at it. It takes time to instill change, but if you want to be a catalyst for that change, then you just have to go out there and put in the work and put in the time and continue to be patient and support other women around you as well.
Okay, Dr. Thirarat, please.
Yeah, I totally agree with our colleagues previously that give some advice that, and I think it's very important to be known, you know, and let yourself known by others as well, like participating in a lot of like activities, and also a lot of opportunity that many organizations helping the female, student, female graduated, or even female arbitrators, like a lot of blog that you can, even if you're not good at speaking, you can just like send some article to be published on the blog, some of the TSAC, TAI, other organization can help that. And I think overall, everyone, as I said, every time have to take part on this, because I think diversity is not just for helping ourselves, for women or anything, but actually is something kind of good for the public as well. which is so many things in the report of the ICA report also mentioned that is diversity is something to do with public interest, public policy as well. Even for in Western state arbitration, you know, you have to do something with public policy involving both women and men. So having diversity is not just good for us, for women, but it's good for something for public as well. So if we are aware of this, I think in the long run, everything will be improved even further. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we take the point from Erica, please.
Yes, thank you. And I resonate with all of my colleagues' comments so far as well. And I think the important thing is visibility, especially if you're in my position where I'm seeking arbitrator appointments. It's becoming known to institutions because, as we've seen, institutions are the ones leading the way for appointing women arbitrators. And the second thing I'm a really strong proponent for is bringing younger lawyers up with us. So if we have an opportunity to mentor, champion young women practitioners, then we should absolutely embrace that, take the time out of our day to have a coffee or a virtual catch up as we often do, and mentor the young women coming through.
Yeah, so today I think that all of you make yourself visible by TAI already. So I now go to Catherine, please.
Thank you. I echo what everyone has said. I just want to add a few more points as that invisibility, especially for someone junior, the best way is to first of all start attending conferences and networking events. I must say I was very scared at my first networking event. I did not know everyone. I saw everyone gathering together and I asked myself, how am I going to step in and talk to people? But we just have to do that and keep doing it until you keep seeing the same people again and again at the same event. And then the next thing is, as a junior member, always join committees. So for example, in Singapore, I'm part of the Singapore Institute of Arbitrators Young Practitioners Network. So I'm the co-chair there, and we try to organize events for younger practitioners. So join these committees, because when you join, you are then in contact with people already in arbitration and you can ask for opportunities down the road. So it echo what some of you have also said. You know, it takes time. You need to start to harvest your seeds early, but it might take a few years. Finally, one last thing. Keep saying yes even though you think you might not be up to it. Women, we have imposter syndrome. I do sometimes, and I think if we say yes more, we put ourselves to the challenge, we realize we actually can do it. Yes,
I thank you for all of you. May I have some things that Dr. Dolaya can share with us, because she's also the champion for the women as well.
I have nothing to say at this point, but as I say in the opening remarks, that TAI will support the role of the women or female arbitrators, and we will continue to do so, make you visible to all the parties under the TAI administration. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. My last word. Actually, I like to say that the proactive is something that female young practitioners should do, because I confess to you that I never know Erica before. I see her face on LinkedIn, but I never have discussion with her. And also Dr. Thidarat, I never have anything involving with Chula because I'm from Thammasat. But I saw her from the THAC webinar. Then I reached out to her. I reached out to Erica. So, and also sharing with Nicole. I also on the same panelist with her. I just known her like 2 times. So you see, now we friends. We extended our network. So I think that to be proactive and to not afraid to ask for any help from your female practitioners. They are friends. So I think that we close this webinar, and happy International Women's Day. And I hope that the number for the appointed female arbitrator getting better and better. And also we empowering ourselves to be a competent women as well. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone. สวัสดีค่ะ